One Rhyme at a Time, Unpacking the Meaning and the Muse with the Poetic Diva, is podcast programming that reminds us of the connection between poetry and mental and emotional wellness. This program has been brought to you by Rhyme and Chat Interactive Poetry Organization and the financial and technical support of the Lyndhurst Foundation, Arts Build, Gold Nook Productions, and our Chattanooga local NPR station, WUTC 88.1. So whether you are a poetry enthusiast or simply someone seeking inspiration and understanding, join us as we unravel the threads of creativity and introspection, one rhyme at a time. Welcome to the conversation. Welcome to One Rhyme at a Time, Unpacking the Meaning and the Muse poetry podcast, where poetry meets mental wellness right here in the heart of Chattanooga, Tennessee. I am your host, the Poetic Diva, and I am thrilled to embark on this poetic healing journey with you. So as in every episode, we are being visited by a poet and a mental health professional. In this episode, we are talking about caring for the caregiver. We are joined today by poet Queen. Atlanta native Kweens Crown discovered her passion for writing in high school and has been pursuing it professionally for more than 11 years. During her time in Atlanta, she became a dynamic presence on numerous stages, performing poetry, hosting events, and creating spaces for community and for healing. She worked actively with the NAACP, served as host for the Marietta Juneteenth celebration, organized a healing brunch, and launched the Catalina Wine Mixer, which she hosted for several years. Since moving to Chattanooga, Tennessee in 2022, Kweens Crown has continued to expand her impact on the arts community. She has co-created and hosted the Essence of Poetry open mic series and performed on major platforms including the Chattanooga Lookouts opening season with the Community Arts Summit, the James Baldwin Festival of Words with Chattanooga Festivals of Black Arts and Ideas, her own one-woman show as part of a Rhyme and Chat Interactive Poetry Organization, and she has performed for numerous community, block parties, and cultural events. For Kweens Crown, writing is more than a craft. It is both therapy and liberation. Guided by love for her art, she moves with a mission to create and to inspire. A true multidisciplinary artist, she also expresses her creativity through visual art, tattooing, hairstyling, jewelry design, and handmade products including candles, body butters, and oils. Beyond the arts, she has dedicated more than 13 years to the healthcare field, earning her LPN degree in 2019. She also serves as a spiritual counselor, specializing in Reiki healing energy, intercessory prayer, and petitions. Above all, she is most proud of her role as a loving mother to two beautiful daughters. Join me in welcoming Kweens Crown to One Rhyme at a Time.
Mom, are you okay? Yes, baby, are you okay? Just bored. I know, me too. Nothing to do except eat, sleep, and watch TV. I chuckle. Strapped to a hospital bed with an IV in her chest, she manages to ask me if I'm all right. Fighting for her life as she's yet to cry. Turning her head as the tears fall from my eyes. Anger, sadness, confusion. Why? She doesn't deserve this plight. She's the one that asks you a million times if you're all right. She offers foot rubs when she sees you're tired. She'll offer to take your hair down. She's the first with gloves to help cook dinner for everyone. And she's running to the passenger seat, slinging her jacket over her shoulders because wherever you're going, she's coming too. Why her? She's the one that'll hug you when you're sad. She is quiet when she feels you're mad. And if she yells or screams, she's either really, really excited or push past mad. Leukemia. What the hell is that? How dare you come in and disrupt her life that fast? Who gave you the authority to rob her of her childhood? Where did you get your past? She doesn't deserve that. She's too good for you. In poem. Thank you.
Thank you, Queen,
You're welcome.
for being here with us today, for sharing your amazing poem
Yes.
with us.
Yes.
Tell us the backstory. What prompted that? What was going on in your world to have you to sit down and put pen to paper?
Okay. So in February, February 14th to be exact, my daughter was diagnosed with leukemia. And when this conversation happened, um, I hadn't processed my feelings about it. I was sad, I was, angry, upset, but I hadn't really processed what it meant for us. And so it was at this time where, I'm by myself and I'm replaying that she hasn't even processed her feelings.
Right. Right.
She hasn't even thought about what it meant for her life. Because at this time, all this information is new for her. So she doesn't know the heaviness of what's been spoken over her at this point.
Exactly.
And as her mother, I know, but I still haven't processed it. And so I think it was later that night and waited till she, was asleep. And I just bawled.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so at that time, I just took pen to paper and really expressed my feelings because I'm like, she's still asking me, am I okay? She's still asking, like, what can I do for you? And I'm like, no, 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 no.
Yes. Yes.
Like, no, wait a minute. This is you. This is, are you okay? Is everything how do you feel? What do you think about it? Because as adults, sometimes we talk and, they hear.
Oh, yes.
They hear.
They hear it all.
Right. And so it's like, I know you're hearing the conversations. I know you're processing, like, what does it mean for you? How do you feel about it? And so this was my way of expressing, like, she's too good for that. Like I said, she's the one that's helping you. You know what I mean? Like your little shadow that's on your hip. Like, she's trying to be, like
She's trying to be there for you.
right. She'll come give you a hug. She'll come, "Hey, you okay? You want to watch a movie? You want to play a game?" And it's like, by her.
Right.
She's the sweetest little, nicest, kinded hearted, like I've never had an issue. Like the teachers love her. They like, oh, she's just the teacher's pet, always want to help. That's her heart. That's her disposition. And so to have this on her at such a young age, it hurt my feelings, So I'm like, I just had to process it and let it out.
So what did being able to sit down and put pen to paper, what did that do for you?
It created a release. It allowed me to see, as her parent, as her guardian, our best options and what we would do moving forward and how to do that in a way that it doesn't affect her no more than it has to. And so it really gave me, an insight on, okay, this is the plan. This is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it, and list it all out.
Now, as you've gone through the journey of being a caregiver for your daughter,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm happy to hear that things are going really, really well on
Yes.
the healing journey.
Yes.
That's a beautiful thing.
Yes. Thank God.
As you've been going through this process,
Mm-hmm.
this season of your life,
Yes.
have you created any more poetry as you've gone through?
Oh, of course. Of course. I mean, at one point it was I'm crying and writing. I'm writing and crying. And it really brought me closer to God where I needed to be, because at that point you can't depend on man. You can only depend on God.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, the ball is in his court now on how this is finna go. And I'm like, if we're going to fight and we're going to win, we need the best coach in the game to direct our team. So
That's true.
Let's do it.
That's true. That's true. That's true. That's true.
You know, so we laced up our sneakers and we fought the good fight.
Yeah. And being in the position of a caregiver, especially when it's a mother-child dynamic.
Yes.
There's a mask, there's a position that you have to wear to where even when you're feeling broken and a bit defeated, you can't show that.
Right.
So tell us a little bit about that journey for you.
That's the toughest because I'm a person, I wear my emotions on my face. Yeah. If I'm happy, you're going to see I'm happy. If I'm irritated, you're going to see the irritation. And so it's like, girl, you got to get your poker face together. Yeah. And so in doing that, you know, it was times where I'm like, the tears are literally on the brim.
And your baby knows.
Yes, she knows. And so it's like, I don't even have to say nothing and she knows, but I got a good poker face. So, you know, I can, hey, give me a minute. I'm about to step out and, you know, I'll step away and I'll walk away, you know what I mean? And handle that. You know how the saying goes, you know, cry, and then put that happy face back on and all right, you want to put Uno now?
Yeah, you have to stay encouraging.
Yes.
And keep her spirits high.
Yes.
Throughout the whole process.
Yes. And I think that made a big of a difference in our fight.
Yeah.
Because she didn't have to wear her situation. And when you're able to go through something and not have it on you, it makes a world of difference of how you go through it. And so I was just thankful for that, you know what I mean? Like, okay, let's do it. Whatever I got to do, and literally I had to put myself, you know, in timeout, back burner on the side, like, okay, at this moment, when we received that diagnosis, it was no longer about me and my feelings. It was about her and reaching her to the finish line.
Yeah. So do you ever share any of your poetry with your daughter?
Ooh. I do. Cause she's on my TikTok and it's so funny because she'll come in under my TikTok like, okay, girl, that was good. Like
Okay.
You know, and she's like, yeah, girl, I like that. You know?
Best cheerleader. Best cheerleader.
But the more serious things like this, no.
Okay.
You know, I'm not ready to, you know, I wanna make sure she's okay first before I put that on her. You know, that's a lot to carry your parents' feelings and emotions as a child. And so I don't want to put that on her. So no, I haven't shared anything in regards to her journey. But I do share other stuff. And
that's
you know,
that's good. That's good. Because I'll tell you something, it enlightens a child's mind to where hopefully they realize the healing properties of creative expression and writing at a young age.
That's right.
And they come up journaling and things of that nature. So that's really good that you're fostering that in her at an early age.
Yes. Because for me, it was my growing up. It was my outlet. Me and my mom, we have a better relationship now. But back then, I think because I was so young that I didn't realize that I could talk to her. And so because not knowing that, hey, my mom's cool, I could talk to her, I had my pen. I had my notebook, and that's where that came in for me. And so I try to put that in them. They're creatives, but they're not too much for the writing. But creative in their own right. You know, they make jewelry, they do hair, they do crafts and all kind of other stuff. But I'm trying to get them to write.
I get that. And I'll tell you, even in the creating of jewelry and things like that, that is still creative expression. Yeah. That is still an outlet for them. Okay. So it's all a very beautiful and therapeutic thing.
I didn't think of it like that.
Yeah.
I just felt like, okay, you know, if you can't talk to me, you can always talk to that paper, you know? And so, but I didn't think of like their creative expression as doing nails and hair, and I mean, they do a lot of stuff, and I'm like, okay.
It is still an outlet. It is still an outlet for them. So that's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. So one of the things that I truly appreciate about the poem that you shared with us, there is a warmth. So the poem doesn't rhyme. It's a prose type, but there is a rhythm to it that is very warm and welcoming and conversational.
Yeah.
Is that intentional, or is that the way that like all of your poetry flows?
No, not all of my poetry flows like that. This happens to flow like that because the origination was from a conversation. Like I said in the beginning, she was just like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "You sitting here in this hospital bed, you got the IV right here, you got the, you know what I mean? Like, you hear, and you talk about, am I okay? Wait a minute." Like, it started from a conversation. So I felt like it just kind of resonated throughout the rest of it. I didn't have to, form it that way. I think that's how it came out is, okay, I'm thinking back on the conversation and now I'm talking to myself, which is still another conversation. And then again, by the end, I'm talking to leukemia, like, who are you?
Right.
How dare you? Who gave you the authority to come here and claim anything under my wing? No, thank you.
Right.
No.
Right.
So
And I sense the change because there was an emotional change that happened, and it went from the warmth and the adoration to a bit of fire.
Yeah, yeah. Mother and her children, don't play.
Exactly. The mama bear came back. The mama bear came back.
Sure.
So as you are going through your poetry and at the end, who gave you the authority to rob her of her childhood? Where did you get your pass? She doesn't deserve that. She is too good for you.
Yeah.
Expound a little bit about your word choice and ending the poem in that way.
Okay. In that sense of who gave you the authority, I think that was me coming from my spiritual side. I believe that when things come, they're either invited or they're open. You know what I mean? Sometimes God allows things to happen to test you, and sometimes you do things to allow stuff to come on to yourself. And so it's like, okay, I don't think God did this. You know what I mean? And if he did, it was something to come out of it. But at the same time, what gave you the right? You know what I mean? Why would you be so bold to come on my doorstep like this? Like, it's kind of like a trespasser at that point, like, who are you? What?
Like you're being invaded.
Right, like you're invading. Yeah, like she don't deserve that. She too good for you.
Yeah.
She'll need this mark on her for what? And I think that's where that came from is we're taught to speak to our problems and to direct them and to command them. And at that point, it's like, no, you can't have her. Yes. You are beneath her. She's too good for you.
She's too good for
She's too good for you.
Very powerful. Very powerful.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I'm sure you experienced the full spectrum of emotion.
Oh, yeah.
From denial and disbelief to anger to confusion and all of those things.
Yeah.
What were some of the things that helped you stay grounded through that period?
I think it was my support system. The people that I had around me that was just like, you're not alone. And this isn't a death sentence, It's like, okay, this is where we are and this is pretty bleak. But at the same time, it doesn't have to be the end, with some adjustments and some changes, like you can fight this, And so I give so much credit to my family, because they're not here. We're in an entirely different state.
Wow.
And it's just us, me and my 2 children. And so I have family that's like, okay, we're on the road right now. They came within a matter of a day.
That's important.
You know, and it was important because it was just like, now I go from feeling so alone and isolated and helpless to now I'm empowered. Now they can pour into me. Now they can lift me up. I mean, my mom came and stayed for a week. You know, her dad, I mean, we've been divorced for the last 5 years, but he dropped everything and he moved here. Moved like my daughter needs me. You know what I'm saying? And that was even more powerful because, I mean, we're good. We've always been able to co-parent. There's never been any tension, but you don't expect somebody to drop their life.
Yeah.
You know? And so even with Rhyme chat, the family, you know what I mean? Checking on me, making sure I'm okay. Like, hey, you good? You need out, you know, like even my best friend, like, just like, hey, look, whatever you need, hey, I'm here. Call me and let me know. And I'm like, I never felt so much love in a dark moment in my life because you like to think you're alone. You like to think that, you know what I mean? Well, if this happened, who's really gonna be there? And when them people start showing up, man, listen, nobody but God.
Yeah.
Nobody but God.
Yeah. I
Nobody.
commend you. I
Yeah.
commend you for allowing your circle to be there for you.
Yes.
Because in so many cases, we as independents, you know, it's like, no, I'm good. No, I'm fine. I don't need anything. But being able to accept it,
Yeah.
that's a beautiful thing.
That was the hardest thing, though. Even
I believe that.
Everything.
I believe that. I believe that. But it's beautiful. It's beautiful when you're able to do that because it's helping them as well.
Yeah.
Because they want to help. They want to be there.
Right.
And you don't want to deny them that opportunity to be there for you.
And that's the thing.
And then it's also helpful for you as well.
Yes.
So how would you describe your poetry?
Expressive. I would say very expressive because it depends on where I'm at and what's going on. You know, a lot of my poems are a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them are experience based. And so it's what I went through, what I've experienced, what I've seen, you know what I mean, what I know. And so it's like, a lot of it is just expressive in my voice and in my way, you know. I understand that I do have a creative sound.
Yeah.
And so I feel like when I write my poetry, it's me putting my input, like your 2 cents, on a subject or a topic.
And you have a very soothing, almost like jazzy, like feel when you deliver your poetry.
Sassy. I
So
call it sassy.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. So do you perform? Do you do spoken word poetry?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. And it's so crazy because at first I just used to do poetry. And it wasn't until I went to a show, I don't know if I could say the show, but I went to the show and they were actually performing the poetry. Like expression, tone, pitch,
It's
like
different.
everything was like,
Yeah.
I'm like, that's it. That's what I'm, you know.
Yeah.
And so I kind of took that and I'm like, okay, I'm talking my junk. I'm gonna say it like I meant it, like I wrote it. You know what I mean? Like if it's fiery, I'm gonna say it just like that versus trying to recite it. And I think that's what
There is a difference.
it's a very, very difference. Like, oh my God, it was just like at that point, poetry opened up to me in a way that it never had. Like, I've been writing since I was 16, 15 years old. And this was literally within the last few years where, okay, now it's something else, you know, where I can now it's like, okay, I gotta learn that so I can really perform it like it need to be. And it's just made a world of difference for me and my poetry.
Yeah. It takes your poetry to I found that it takes your poetry to a different level.
Yes.
When it leaves the page.
Mm.
When it leaves the page.
Right.
And when you're able to breathe it out and
Right.
share it with others,
Right.
and it is more of a performance and not just a recitation.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it just, now you go from poetry to spoken word.
To spoken word.
That's like you said.
Yeah.
So
It is different.
Yes.
It's different. But I could hear that. I picked that up in your voice. And I'm like, okay, wait a minute. This is not her first rodeo. This is not. So does your poetry generally rhyme, or do you generally write in prose?
It used to. It used to rhyme. But I was talking to Erica Dion.
Yes.
And she's like, when you realize that poetry doesn't have to rhyme, you enter into a new phase of writing. And so from there, it's like, I never thought about it not rhyming. I've always been intentional on making it rhyme. So now you go from trying to keep this schematic of a poem formation to, this is how it is. This is what I said. This is whether it rhyme, don't rhyme.
If people are wanting to contact you, how can people connect with you?
Oh man, I'm on all social media platforms if they want to reach out. Kweens Crown, the artist, on Facebook.
You got to spell it.
KWEENS. Don't forget the S. Crown, the artist, the artist. On Instagram, I am Beloved Queen Mika, BELOVED, KWEEN, MIKA. And then on TikTok, I'm just Queen Mika.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we thank you so very much for being here with us.
Thank you for
sharing
me. Yes.
not only your poetry, but your journey and your heart with us on today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks to Queen for sharing her poem and for sharing her journey with us. The inspired topic from her poem is caring for the caregiver. Motivational speaker Les Brown is quoted as saying this about caregiving: regardless of what challenge you are facing right now, know that it has not come to stay. It has come to pass. During these times, do what you can with what you have and ask for help if needed. Most importantly, never surrender. Put things in perspective. Take care of yourself. Find ways to replenish your energy, your faith, and fortify yourself from the inside out. So, let's prepare to talk about it with our mental health professional and guest, Tongeia Farmer. It is important to note that this podcast is not therapy. It is a conversation, and it's intended to help remove the stigma of having conversations like this. It is not intended to be a replacement for your actual therapy. Always seek the advice of a physician or qualified healthcare professional with any questions that you may have regarding your mental, emotional, or physical health. Now, with that being said, let's get a better understanding of caring for caregivers. Tongeia Farmer is an author, certified spiritual life coach, and mentor based in Chattanooga, Tennessee. A graduate of Second Missionary Baptist Church's School of Evangelism, she went on to complete a course in spiritual counseling at Covington Theological Seminary and earned her life coach certification from the Life Coach Training Institute. She is the founder of Introspection LLC, a counseling group dedicated to guiding others on their journeys of healing and self-discovery. As a spiritual mentor, she weaves together her faith, training, and lived experiences to empower others toward growth and transformation. For more than 2 decades, Tongeia has also shared her voice as a poet. Since 2003, she has been an active member and performer with Rhyme and Chat Interactive Poetry Organization, where she now serves on the board of directors. She is the author of the poetry series Visions of Life, which began in 2006 and continues to grow with her newest installment entitled The Next Chapter, released August of 2025. When not serving others, Tongeia finds renewal in studying God's Word, meditating and writing, practices that nurture both her spirit and her creativity. Above all, she treasures her family. She is the proud mother of 2 adult children, Christopher and Courtney, and the joyful grandmother of Christopher Jr. Join me in welcoming our guest, Tongeia Farmer.
Thank you.
Okay, so welcome to One Rhyme at a Time.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
We just had an amazing conversation with poet Queen.
Yes. Very amazing. Yes.
What does it mean to be a caregiver?
In a nutshell, taking care of others. When situations come about, you have to process the initial shock of it. Depending upon what it is exactly, will determine how you deal with the initial shock of it. But such things as within Queen's poem, dealing with cancer diagnosis, or dealing with stroke patients, dealing with whatever the situation may be, you have to deal with the initial shock of it. Because depending upon where you are in your life, in your life's journey, there is a halt that is put on your life. And you have to figure out how you're going to navigate that halt.
I can imagine it's like your entire foundation being just kind of like shaken up.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, and possibly even feelings of resentment.
There will be some resentment feelings because it's like, why is this happening? Why do I have to take care of this person? No matter if it's your parents, your children, your mates, your friends, your enemies, it really doesn't matter. You still got to deal with that initial shock of why me?
Right.
Why do I have to do this?
Right.
Why am I in position to take care of this?
Right.
Not necessarily the person, but the situation. Why am I positioned to take care of this situation? I don't know nothing about this. I don't know what I'm doing. That's, the initial part of it. And then after you cry, after you cuss and fuss and do all of the stuff, and I mean, we're just being real.
Yeah.
After you do all of that, you sit down and you breathe a minute and you're like, okay. All right, where do I go from here?
That's the acceptance.
You have to accept it. Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Acceptance. Okay. And that's not an overnight thing either. Because after the initial part of it, and then you sit down and you say, okay, where'd I go from here? And you try to learn all the things you need to learn about in handling whatever the situation is, in caring for the person themselves rather. You still you'll have moments where you'll be like, I don't do this.
Yeah.
I'm not prepared for this. So acceptance doesn't just happen overnight. It's a process also. All of it is a process. But, not to get to whatever your faith, whatever your higher power is, you gotta get grounded, and you gotta get strong, and you gotta get deep.
And lean into that.
And lean on into it so that you can, okay, all right, gotta get girded up.
Yeah.
So that you can accept, deal with it, and figure out what to do, what you got to put in place, how you're going to do it, or what have you.
So in getting that initial shock of this is what's happening to my loved one, and I am the person who is going to be like the primary person that's like calling the shots and making things happen. What are some things that person can do to help themselves along that journey to get to acceptance?
Try to understand that not only did it happen to the caregiver, it's happening to the person themselves. I know of an experience where a child taking care of her mom. And so in that experience, when it first happened, the mom didn't know, what to expect or how or where to go. And the child didn't know, what to expect or where to go. So you in accepting the situation, you also have to learn, okay, this isn't just happening to me, it's happening to them too.
Right.
And you got to take in consideration the feelings, the emotions. There are going to be days where you're looking at each other and it's like, right. I don't know what to do. You don't know what to do. Yeah. I mean, literally, you just throw your hands up and it's like, God, you got this, because I don't. But, you have to figure out people you can talk to, um, family members, friends that come along and say, I got you, what you need. How can I assist you? If you don't have those members, those friends that come into place right at the moment, then you got to figure out what doctors, what people, what whoever you can lean into to find out how am I to go about taking care of this person. Right. Because there's not just an emotional situation to it. There is a physical situation to it. There is a medical situation to it. So you've got a whole lot of different things that you've got to start make a list and figure out, okay.
Educate yourself.
Yeah, you got to get the education. And you've got to figure out, okay, this person, whatever the situation is, this person is going to need medical attention. So I need to find out what their medical records are about so that I can learn how I need to adjust that. Right. Eating habits or living habits. Yeah. Am I going to have to move in with this person? Am I going to have to get caregiving? It ranges in different ways. You can be at home with the person or not be at home with the person, but if there's just so many things that you've got to figure out. If I got to have somebody to stay with this person, or am I going to, because most of the time a person is working.
Right.
So if I'm doing a 8 to 5 kind of deal, somebody's got to stay with that person.
That's true.
So you got that angle to figure out. It's so many different things.
So many moving parts. So many moving parts.
Yeah. And a lot of times you're doing it by yourself until you allow, like it was spoken between you and Queen, when you allow people to help you.
Yes.
Because so many times we are, as women, when we are doing this mother thing on our own, when we are doing life on our own, we are so independent. We don't know how to allow others to assist us because we're not used to being helped.
Exactly.
We're used to doing it ourselves.
Exactly.
So learning to allow others to help means so much. You don't think about it at the time, but down the road, it's like, oh, I'm so glad you were there for me.
Exactly.
I'm so glad you gave me that hug. Thank you so much. And that allows you to let those tears fall, because you got to deal with all those emotions you're holding inside, because you don't want that person you're taking care of to see all of that, because you got to stay strong for them.
I can even see in a situation like this, past trauma just really coming up and raising its head. If you have trust issues, if you have people in your past who you depended on, who let you down, it making it even that much more challenging to trust other people in this moment with your care, with your feelings, with what you're going through. So what are some things that you can think of as we are trying to relinquish some of of our control, allowing other people to come in to help? What are some things that you can think of that can assist us in knowing that it's okay?
First of all, you got to know where you stand in your spiritual journey. That in itself will be a foundation that you'll have to rely on. Whatever your spiritual journey is, you've got to lean into that. And then you just have to learn how to trust that person. And you've got to learn to trust those that say that they will be there for you. And allow them to show you they can be trusted with helping you, with being there for you. And of course, if they don't, keep their word, if they fall short or what have you, then you just politely remove them from the situation and find somebody else.
Exactly. And you'd probably be surprised in some cases, the people who actually end up showing up and coming through when you give them an
Yes.
opportunity
Please
to
be
do so.
careful of the people you just put to the side. They may be the ones that have to come to your aid.
Yeah.
So, you really don't know who will be there for you and who won't be. But you just have to trust in that, in that one that gives you the strength to say he's going to allow, or she, however, is going to allow the right people to come in your path.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
And just allowing yourself to be open to that.
And that's a hard thing to do, but yes.
Yeah. What are some things that, as a caregiver, that person can do for themselves? So along with allowing your village to be the village and to help support, along with leaning into your spiritual beliefs, what are some things that we can do to care for ourselves and not lose our identity in the midst of our journey?
Still do self-care. Still take yourself out to a movie. Still take yourself out to eat. Still love them in spite of the situation. Because so many times we take things up on us. We take it, we absorb it, and we forget I still exist.
Yes.
So you have to remember to still love yourself. Don't blame yourself.
And don't feel guilty for needing a break and for taking a break.
Yeah, that's what I was getting to.
Yeah.
When you have to say, look, I love you right now, but I need a break.
Yeah.
And be all right with it.
Yeah.
And even if that person is not all right with it, say, I can't work with that right now. Let's see. You know what? I love you, but I got to go. Kisses.
Right.
I mean, because you might have to be that blunt.
Yeah.
Because that person is pulling on you and they're needing you, but you still need you.
Yes.
So you give me a couple of hours, please. Right. I will be back. But just I need a couple of hours.
Right.
Even if it's just to sit on your front porch and just sit there.
And breathe.
Breathe. Look at all the wonders, Look at your yard and say, they couldn't.
But take that in. And giving yourself grace.
Give yourself some grace.
I'm real big on that. Just being gentle with yourself.
Yes,
in
give
those
yourself
moments.
Grace.
Yeah.
It's definitely needed.
Yeah.
Definitely needed.
Drink your water. Eat your food. There was a comment that Queen had made, and she said that my life stopped. And and her entire existence was turned towards her, towards her daughter. And that happens. And that's especially, something life-changing has just happened to
that halt.
my loved one. And it does make you take pause with everything.
It does. It makes you halt, but at some point, you still have to work. You still have to move. You still have to shift. You still have to, okay, all right. You still got to breathe. You still have to, realize that you can't do this by yourself.
Right.
Yes, you are the mother, the daughter, the sister, the friend, the whatever, but you can't do it by yourself. You're going to need some assistance. You're going to need those breaks. You're going to need that time to remember you are still the same woman or man or whatever. When the situation came about, you're still that same person.
Right.
You just have an extra little something on your plate.
Yeah.
And you got to learn how to maneuver, how to manipulate that deal. Yes, manipulate, because sometimes it's like, I can't do this. I got to fix this. I got to fix that.
Right.
So that's manipulation. You're fixing stuff.
Right.
So you have to learn how to fix some stuff. You got to learn how to move some stuff around in order to still give yourself some grace, some time to look at a movie and be all right with that.
Right. Don't lose yourself.
Don't lose yourself, because if you lose yourself, what happens a lot of times when people put their all in all into whatever the situation is going on, and I'm grateful that in Queen's situation, she didn't have to go through the end, so to speak.
Right.
But in situations where that does come about, where people have to deal with the end, it's a matter of then figuring out, who am I?
Right.
The situation I spoke of earlier between a mom and her daughter, a daughter and her mom, that was an almost 40-year situation of caregiving.
Yes.
And after that, there was a break. After the mom passed,
Right.
there was a break. And the daughter had to figure out, okay, I've been doing this for almost 40 years. Who am I? What
Right.
am I
Now
doing?
what? Now what?
What I do with my time?
Right.
Because my time, so to speak, she's put all into that situation.
Exactly.
So, you tried, it's, depending upon the situation, the length of time or what have you, you may lose yourself, but you don't lose yourself totally.
Right.
Because you still have other things going on to where you have to figure it out and, and put it on your plate and give it maybe half the plate this day and maybe give it a fourth of the plate this day.
Right.
And, you still have to figure some things out. But it is definitely a journey that is not to be taken lightly.
I can see the power of the village. I can see the power of the village really, really being a integral part of helping the caregiver not lose themselves.
Check on your strong friends.
Check on your strong friends. Yeah. What are some other things that those who are in close proximity to a caregiver, what are some things that circle can do to help that person?
Be encouraging, be uplifting. Sometimes when you see the caregiver, just give a hug.
Yeah.
Smile. Say, okay, you know what? It's all right today.
Mm-hmm.
What do you need today?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then that caregiver allow them, that person to do whatever it is they need that day. It's like, you know what? I just want to sit down and just talk. Can we do that? Sure.
Yes.
We can do that.
Yeah.
Make the village can make themselves available, in that way, or even say, hey, I can go and take care of your person today. Cook for them, because a lot of times they may not be in a position to where they can do the cooking that they used to do.
Right.
Just give them some encouragement that they still matter, that somebody's looking after them while they're looking after somebody else.
That's true. In a lot of cases, that's really what we need. We just need to know that somebody's thinking about us.
Yes.
Getting help from other people is not weakness.
No, but because women in a nutshell have been raised to be strong, raised to be that one that just she's got it all together.
All the things. I'm every woman.
Yes.
Superwoman.
Yes.
All the things.
Cake. All the whole.
Yeah, I bring home the bacon and fry it up in the pan and right.
Showing the skillet and everything.
Yes.
Because we've been raised that way, it is very hard to accept help, because you're right. We might think it's weak, or you might think somebody's trying to take advantage of you,
right.
Or you might decide that, you don't want that person to get too close. They're trying to get too close. And that may not necessarily be the case. They're just trying to be there for you to help you out.
Right. When they entrust you, be there.
Yes.
Do what
Follow
you said.
through.
Follow through.
Follow
Do what
through.
you say you're going to do.
Follow through.
So important.
Yes. And if you can't do it per se, follow through with a phone call and say, hey, something came up. I can't do it at this exact moment, but can we reschedule to do it a different time? That
is so important.
Follow through is the best thing.
So we've covered things that the caregiver can do for themselves. We've covered what the circle can do to help support their caregiver, friend, family member.
Mm-hmm.
What are some things that the circle should not do?
Well, they don't need to impose themselves as knowing everything,
Mm.
especially if they're not right there every day, every minute of the day.
What does that look like? What is imposing? What does that look like?
So, say for instance, like with Queen taking care of her daughter, she knows what her daughter needs, how she needs it, how she deals with it. She knows her child. Okay, therefore, she doesn't need me to come in and say, well, maybe you ought to do it like this, or maybe you should do her clothes like this, or maybe you should do. You don't want to risk the opportunity of getting looked at and sent out the door.
Or sit out the door.
By the way you are looked at.
Right.
Or said or spoken to, because depending upon where the person is at that time, some words can be exchanged that may not necessarily be, all that whatever, but they can be hurtful. Even though you might mean well, still you need to know your place.
Exactly.
You need to know your lane. You need to be able to read the room and then try to determine how you can help, as opposed to just coming in and jumping in and saying, I think you ought to do this, and it's like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Right.
Slow your roll.
Right.
Even if it's, like I said earlier, as far as a daughter mother kind of thing, where the daughter's taking care of the mom, or the daughter's taking care of the dad, or grandmother or whoever, that daughter is no longer the daughter, so to speak. They become the parent, because they're having to take care of the parent.
Right.
That becomes that position is switched.
Right.
So then the bear will raise up in the daughter as well, So you have to be careful about how you approach people in your attempting to help, in your attempting to be there. You have to be able to read the room, read the person, and make sure you take it slow.
Yeah.
And ask how I can help, as opposed to telling what needs to be done.
Exactly.
You don't need to come in controlling anything, because you know nothing.
Right.
You have to come in and ask how you can help.
Right. And that's how you support a person,
Mm-hmm.
by coming in and asking how you can support,
Mm-hmm.
listening to their answer,
Listening,
and
yes.
doing that thing.
Don't take over.
Don't take over.
Don't take over. The caregiver is already feeling some type of way, to the point to where they may be feeling defeated on any given day. They may be feeling less than on any given day. They may be feeling drained on any given day. Don't come in trying to just be overbearing. Don't come in trying to just, like I said, take control of the situation that day. You don't know what emotion you're going to walk into. You don't know what the situation may be at the time. So that's why I said actively listening is always great.
And friendships can be damaged.
Yes.
Beyond repair. And
Yes.
you come in and you have good intentions,
yes.
but you're not actively listening.
You're not actively listening, and you're not reading the room, reading the situation enough to say, okay, she don't need me to do this right now. She or he, for that matter, she or he doesn't need me to do this right now. They need me to do something else. Let me find out what they need me to do.
Right. Because my purpose is to support my friend.
My purpose is to support. My purpose is to, assist.
Yes.
We can support in a lot of different ways, but we can also assist in the situation right then.
Yes.
So if the situation causes for dishes to be washed, you can assist to wash the dishes. It's all still supportive, but assisting looks like different things in different times. So, it's just a matter of being mindful of how to help and how to assist and how to support.
While not overstepping.
Because you're going to get that look.
Okay. This has been really, really, really helpful and enlightening.
Yes.
Because a lot of people are either a caregiver, currently a caregiver, they've been a caregiver, or at some point in their life's journey, they may become a caregiver,
Yes.
or they are the recipient of care.
Yes.
So this message is for all of us. It's for all of us. So if people are wanting to get in touch with you, how can they contact you?
I am on Facebook under my name, Tongeia Farmer, as well as Instagram, Tongeia Farmer. I think on Instagram it also says Lady Cherie, something like that, but it's still Tongeia Farmer.
Can you spell that for us?
First name is T as in Tom, Ongeia, and Farmer, Farmer. I can also be reached via email. It is Tongeia, Tongeia 46@gmail.com.
Perfect. We thank you so very much for being with us today.
Thank you.
As we conclude another insightful episode of One Rhyme at a Time, I want to take time to thank our featured poet, Queen, and our guest mental health professional, Tongeia, our studio audience, and of course you, our listeners, for joining in on this conversation. And we'd like to hear from you. What has been your experience as a caregiver or a receiver of care? How do you stay grounded? Tell us in an original poem that you have written in response to this podcast. Submit your poem to RNCPoetry@gmail.com for an opportunity to be heard at an upcoming episode. Rosalind Carter said, "There are only 4 kinds of people in this world: those who have been caregivers, those who are currently caregivers, those who will be caregivers, and those who will need a caregiver." It is our hope that this conversation serves as encouragement and as a reminder to check in on the caregivers in your life. If you find yourself in the seat of a caregiver, allow others in your circle to support you. And please remember to be gentle with yourself. To love a person is to see all of their magic and to remind them of it when they have forgotten. And at times, we need to be willing to love ourselves enough to remind ourselves of the magic that lives within each of us. Until next time, this is the Poetic Diva. May your days be filled with inspiration, healing, and poetry, one rhyme at a time. One Rhyme at a Time, unpacking the meaning and the muse with the Poetic Diva, is podcast programming that reminds us of the connection between artistic expression and mental wellness. This program has been brought to you by Rhyme and Chat Interactive Poetry Organization and the financial and technical support of the Lyndhurst Foundation, Arts Build, Goldnook Productions, and our Chattanooga local NPR station, WUTC 88.1. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, share, and leave comments for us on your preferred podcast platform. Your feedback helps us as we continue to bring you meaningful content, one rhyme at a time.